NBA players who lost everything after their contracts ended. Playing in the NBA seems like a dream to many. However, it can be extremely daunting for young players in the league with no guidance or discipline when it comes to spending their earnings. In our heads, we all have the one thing we'd instantly buy if we became millionaires. Unfortunately, these NBA players became careless with their money due to addictions. Some players had a gambling addiction, while others had an alcohol problem. Some NBA stars thought that they could help more people than they really could. Keep watching to find out which NBA stars got caught up in their NBA stardom and lost everything after their NBA careers concluded. Charles Barkley. Former Phoenix Suns star and current TNT NBA analyst Charles Barkley revealed he probably lost $10 million due to his gambling addiction. Charles didn't lose all of his money because he claimed he was able to afford gambling. However, he admitted that it was a stupid habit that needed to get under control. People around Barkley were concerned that he would go broke after all those years in the NBA. Barkley admitted that he believed that gambling was fun and exciting and that he'll continue to gamble. Instead, he said that he would stop trying to break the casino because you never can. Barkley was displeased that his comments became a legitimate story around the media, saying, "I'm going to continue gambling. I like to gamble. It's really nobody's business because it's my own money. I earned it." Barkley makes $1.5 million as an NBA analyst for TNT annually and is not broke to this day. $10 million is a lot to lose gambling, and without help from his supporting cast, could have been broke today. Jason Caffey. Jason Caffey has 10 children with 8 different women over a period of 9 years. Now the former Chicago Bulls forward wants to share his stories so that other young men don't do the same. After years of child support battles and struggles with mental health, Caffey's lifestyle cost him a longer NBA career and led him to a place nobody deserves to go. Caffey had trouble with the children's mother over money and had a domestic violence case opened up on him 14 years ago. That made him reflect on the choices he made throughout his NBA career. Caffey explained that when he got to the league, all the money gave him a false sense of power and that he wanted his destiny to be love. He equated that with a lot of children. Caffey admitted that being in the NBA was like being a rock star. When he was playing with Michael Jordan, it made it tough as a country boy coming from Mobile, Alabama. Caffey wasn't used to the lifestyle and the kind of money that came along with it. He would always deal with women in abundance. Caffey blamed everybody but himself for years before he realized that most of what he learned about sex and women was from older men who mistreated women themselves. Kenny Anderson. The former New Jersey Nets All-Star Kenny Anderson was riding high in the NBA and didn't realize he would have his own downfall after his career was over. Kenny Anderson was arrested for a DUI in 2013 and was then fired from his high school coaching job. Anderson made $63 million in his career, but in 2005 it wasn't enough, as he filed for bankruptcy in the same year his mother had passed away. Anderson fathered several children by multiple women. The 2013 DUI proved that he was lost in his life after playing professional basketball. Anderson struggled to find meaning, discipline, and a direction after the NBA. He had become the fallen star. Anderson's early years were spent by addiction and despair. Kenny had recounted that he was molested by a neighbor as a young boy, and he had also endured horrors while sharing a rented room with his mother, who was battling substance abuse. Sometimes it's hard to believe that Kenny Anderson even made it into the NBA and became such a star with how his early life began. Anderson recently had a stroke while coaching at Fisk University, but has recovered well since then in late February of 2019. Eddie Curry. Believe it or not, Eddie Curry was supposed to be the next greatest center in the NBA. He was a 7-footer who was unstoppable on the boards and was a stud defensively and could score around the rim. Curry was Illinois' Mr. Basketball in his senior year of high school and was selected to the McDonald's All-American team in 2001 and later named the MVP of the game. There was so much hype surrounding Curry that he decided to go straight into the NBA draft from high school. Curry was drafted by the Bulls and had a successful start to his career until March 30th, 2005. Curry complained of chest pains and had symptoms of a heart arrhythmia. Curry's heart condition saga had much debate as he was coming into the offseason as a restricted free agent at only 22 years old. In his fourth season in the NBA, Curry was averaging 16.3 points per game and 5.3 rebounds per game. But before the Bulls extended a new contract to Curry, the Bulls had asked Curry to take a DNA test to see whether or not he was predisposed to a heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Curry declined to take the DNA test due to the fact that he felt healthy enough to play and his doctors cleared him to play. The situation was a stalemate as both sides refused to give in to each other's demands. The Bulls ended the dispute by pulling off a sign and trade with the Knicks, where he saw some success, but he didn't reach his full expected potential. Eventually, when Mike D'Antoni took over as head coach, Curry showed up overweight and out of shape for training camp and went into D'Antoni's doghouse. Then in July of 2007, Curry and his family were robbed at gunpoint in his Chicago home, where Curry was restrained with duct tape. The robbers escaped with $10,000 in cash. Later, Eddie Curry's personal driver, Dave Kaczynski, claimed that Curry owed him $98,000 in unpaid wages and accused him of sexual harassment. The suit asked for $5 million in damages. The most recent off-court troubles that Curry has been going through came to light in 2010 when reports surfaced that despite making over $57 million during his 9-year NBA career, he was broke and actually owed $2 million in debt. He defaulted on a $585,000 loan he took out in 2008 and actually claimed that he shouldn't have to pay the money back because he had too many other expenses. It was reported by the Associated Press that Curry's expenses included $30,000 a month in household expenses, $17,000 a month to relatives, over $1,000 a month in cable and satellite bills, and apparently $350,000 to NBA player Juwan Howard. Derrick Coleman. A former number 1 overall pick, Derrick Coleman filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy protection in March of 2010 due to having owed his creditors nearly $4.7 million. Derrick Coleman made $87 million as a professional basketball player, but his desire to invest in the Detroit area after his playing career contributed to his financial problems. Coleman attempted to revive a downtrodden neighborhood and defaulted on loans related to the mall in 2009. Due to the state of the economy in 2009 and 2010, Coleman's investments weren't able to be sustained. Coleman's largest debts were $1.3 million owed to Comerica Bank in connection with a lawsuit and a $1 million loan on property in Michigan from Thornburg Mortgage Home Loans. Coleman also owed Detroit Mayor Dave Bing $50,000 from a loan granted in 2009. Among the assets that could have been available for creditors was a 1957 Buick convertible worth $20,000, a 1970 Chevrolet Nova worth $5,000, and a 1997 Bentley convertible worth $50,000 at the time. Coleman also listed 2 Sea-Doo watercraft, his $90,000 NBA pension, and 2 chinchilla fur coats. Antoine Walker. Antoine Walker earned over $110 million throughout his NBA career, but that didn't stop the former Celtics star from going broke. Walker was young and dumb, disobeying his financial advisor and doing his own thing. He went against a whole lot of wishes, so when Walker began his NBA career, he upgraded his entire family to live in multi-million-dollar homes that he built from the ground up. He added 5 luxury cars like Bentleys, BMWs, and a $350,000 Maybach. Walker would also never wear the same designer suit twice. His generosity extended beyond his family as he started to help his friends and acquaintances. Walker would pay for all expenses, paid trips, and luxury gifts for friends. Antoine also had a gambling problem and lost $646,900 in just 2 years. During his NBA career, Walker had bought more than 140 properties in the south side of Chicago where he looked to build on. This led Walker to default on loans where he was the personal guarantor. He lost value on land and failed to get a handle on all the legal issues that followed. Walker regrets making all these significant investment decisions before retiring from the league. With all of his attention on his NBA career, he wasn't able to watch his investments closely and was caught off guard when the real estate market crashed. Walker declared for bankruptcy in 2010, citing $12.74 million in liabilities and $4.2 million in assets. The entire bankruptcy was drawn out over 2 years, where he was stripped of his credit cards and his bank accounts were frozen. Walker also gave up his 2006 NBA championship ring that was won with the Miami Heat. Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was one of the most iconic 76ers of all time. Iverson won the Most Valuable Player award in 2001 and took the Philadelphia 76ers to the NBA Finals. However, Iverson and the Sixers fell short of a title to Kobe Bryant's Lakers. Iverson never won a championship, but he did achieve almost $200 million through contracts and endorsements during his playing career. Throughout his career, Iverson was careless with his money. He would purchase gifts for his friends and family and fell into bad habits. Iverson would keep wads of cash in garbage bags around his mansion and reported that some of the money went missing. Iverson was so strange that he left his car in the airport because he couldn't remember where he parked his car. Instead, Iverson purchased a brand new car and left his old car at the airport. He never picked it up. His problems continued after he was unable to pay a court-ordered $859,896.46. His monthly expenses doubled to nearly $360,000 while he brought in $62,500 each month in 2012. Iverson does not bring in large amounts of money anymore, but was able to work a deal with Reebok where he will still make $32 million by the time he turns 55 in 2030. However, his ex-wife will be due half of the money because of a post-nuptial violation on Iverson's part. Reebok still believes Iverson is worth the money due to his playing career and fan base. Iverson will bring in $800,000 from the lifetime Reebok endorsement. It's hard to imagine where Iverson would be without Reebok's contract. VIN Baker. VIN Baker played 13 seasons in the NBA, made the All-Star game 4 times, and was considered one of the top offensive forwards in the NBA. Baker made over $100 million in his playing career, but was an alcoholic during his playing days. He would drink in his hotel and sometimes go to games hungover. Baker acknowledged that one day he decided to drink before and after games because he would play well. He would think about drinking every day just due to the fact that it was working for him on the court. However, he didn't know that with his consistent drinking of alcohol, his on-court performance started to take a severe hit due to his chemical dependency. His choices off the court cost him millions. On top of that, he lost a chance to build on a high-profile career where he could have become one of the association's top players. Later in his book, God and Starbucks, an NBA superstar's journey through addiction and recovery, Baker admitted that he was an alcoholic and that he had lost a fortune. He recently said, "I had a great talent and lost it. It seems quite hard to blow through $100 million, but VIN Baker let it happen to himself with poor decision-making and no guidance." Baker took on a position as an assistant coach with the Bucks after attempting to resurrect his career by making a living at Starbucks. Baker is well on his way in his journey to sobriety.